Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I'm here to share your daily aspects. Today is Friday, March 18, 2022. And the sun is in Pisces. This is the final 2 days of the sun's transit through Pisces, and we are in a culminative phase with the full moon in Virgo here and with our ongoing aspects, I should say. Everything shifts between now and this Monday. So tie up your loose ends, celebrate your work and achievements, set your partnerships and your personal life in order. The vernal equinox is just ahead, giving us this time to sort it all out and invite in the springtime proper. It's a time of transition, friends, and the planets and the signs and I all invite you to make the shift from rest and play to forward initiative with willing and intentional hearts. So the sun is in Pisces. Neptune and Jupiter, Pisces co-ruling planets, are currently in Pisces, as well as Mercury. And when the sun leaves Pisces in 2 days, these planets will still be in Pisces. Mercury will peel off first and join us in Aries, and then Jupiter will peel off after that and sort of jump back and forth this year between Pisces and Aries. Neptune will stay in Pisces through 2026, so that intensification of the intuitive and the inspired flow of creation in Pisces will still be existing for us for a few years yet. And the full moon is a time to celebrate. It is a time of culmination. Hopefully we got some of our goals met or even partially met by now. So it's a time to celebrate what you have done, what you've achieved, what you have that you are grateful for, in terms of personal resources and in terms of connection out in the world, and whatever it is that you've been striving to attain, if you've gone ahead and attained it. And the full moon in Virgo is, moon in Virgo is very much a time when we want to set things in order in our hearts and homes. We sort of want to mend fences and do healing, and also just sort of get organized. So, when we're celebrating what we have achieved and what we have that we're grateful for, we can celebrate that with an eye toward healing the past so that we can move forward. And the moon will make ingress into Libra pretty early this morning. That full moon happened at 2:17 this morning, so hopefully you stayed up late last night to catch it. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the aspects. I want to let you know that there's a legend on the side here. Most of the symbols on the page made it into the legend, and so if you're looking for a word or a concept to go with a symbol, they're all right here. Otherwise, I'm going to discuss them all as we go through the page. And I've divided the page into 2 columns, one for each of our luminaries. Now, the moon sheds light on our inner lives. This is who we are in relation to ourselves, how it feels to be in our body, our heart, and our mind. Those things we think, feel, know, and intuit, but that we might not ever express out loud. And it also relates to our domestic life, who we are at home and in relationship to those people that we keep closest to us. That's the moon and the inner life. And the transits and aspects that the moon makes are all relatively brief. And again, they have more to do with those things that happen inside us personally and in our personal lives, those things we think, feel, know, and intuit, and they don't necessarily get expressed in the outer world. The sun, on the other hand, sheds light on our outer lives. This is more about the part of us that interfaces with the public and the rest of the world. The outer life is our workspace, our social spaces, our civic spaces, and how we come to interact there. And I address the sun's aspects and the rest of the planet's aspects on this side because they tend to take longer than those lunar aspects, and they have more to do with how we engage in the outer life than in the inner life. Okay. And we start today on the sun side of the page. You can see that there's a lot going on here. We start with the full moon today at 2:17 in the morning. So the sun went in opposition to the moon, and this is how we get the full moon effect. They have to be on opposite sides of the sky from one another, from our perspective, from one another, in order for the sun's full reflection, full light to reflect from the moon. So it's a good thing, and it is a time of culmination and celebration. Symbolically, sun opposition moon is like the outer life in a potential for conflict with the inner life. Okay, so there's a very buzzy vibe. Okay, it can be excitement or it can be nervousness, right? Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Challenges to our ego at this time can be resolved with inner strength and trust in our own power, is the note that came to me on that. Okay, so sometimes when the sun is in opposition to the moon, that's when we're feeling ourselves the most, and probably feeling the most proud of ourselves because we're celebrating. So there's a little ego involved in there, and we may face some challenges to our ego just in terms of challenges getting in our way, or people not responding to us the way we would like them to. It's okay. Just use your inner resolve and trust in your own power. You know what you have, you know what you've done, and that's all you need to know. And then later this morning at 11:24 a.m., Venus makes a sextile with Chiron, and after that at 2:37 p.m., the sun makes a sextile with Pluto. And when I was writing these out, and then I went back in to fill in the ongoing aspects that we have, I realized that these were kind of the message of what Venus conjunct Mars is doing right now. So I think that's interesting when you've got those long ongoing aspects. Sometimes things pop up, in pairs to let us know this is what's going on with these two planets. This is how in this case, like the relationships and the partnerships are sort of playing out at this time. So we've been working with these partnership goals for a while. Eventually, when you've been working with your plans, your goals, and your dreams, you come to a point where what you thought was going to work going forward might need some revision, might need some review. So we need to have a conversation and sort this out and set ourselves again in the right direction. Venus sextile Chiron. This is our sense of receptivity, right? Our attractiveness, our ability to pull things in that we like, love, and can't get enough of, in a very cooperative vibration with Chiron, which is an asteroid that represents the healing that we're working to do in the world. So healing, finding solutions that work for us in terms of, us getting what we need in order to feel supported and secure. A chance to communicate, resolve, review those partnership goals, coming away with a new positive outlook and potential solutions to whatever problems that might have been cropping up. That's on the Venus side. And then I know that this isn't Mars. This is Sun sextile Pluto, but I'm going to tell you how it is Mars. Sun sextile Pluto puts the spotlight on our power in the world and our drive to succeed. Well, that's very much, Sun sextile Pluto sounds very much like a Mars kind of driven energy. Mars wants to show its strength and its power and its force, and it wants to move forward. It does want the transformation of one thing into another. And self-discipline at this time helps us with the drive forward. So remember when we had the Sun conjunct here, and it was like self-discipline is going to help us with challenges to our ego. Self-discipline here also helps us move forward. And in this really powerful mode, we can sort of rein in even like our obsessive tendencies, or our instincts and our what do I want to say, just those drives that tend to scatter us, that tend to distract us from our goals at hand. At this time, we have the power to sort of rein them in and make them work for us to drive us forward. So that is these two new aspects that we will be dealing with, both of them through the 24th. Venus conjunct Mars is with us through the 20th, and then we will have a week or so of sort of shadow post Venus conjunct Mars, where we're still dealing with those themes. There'll be a lot of action with Mercury in play, to sort of having the conversations and sorting things out. But they're gonna move apart from each other, and in truth, Venus moves a lot faster than Mars, so she's gonna go ahead and pull way out ahead of Mars and probably eventually lap Mars. But this is the vibe. It's, a good time to be reviewing our partnership goals and giving ourselves a little more clarity on what the expectations are for ourselves and the other person. And, partnerships, I'm talking about your workplace partnerships, your professional partnerships, your romantic partnerships. Also, those people you partner with within your friends and your family. So, keep having those conversations, and and that way you can come out with a positive outcome. And really during this time, you're going to have this power to make that pursuit. You're going to have this power and drive to succeed. So it's a good time to be really clear on your goals, because the push is coming, guys. Sun is entering Aries. The push is here. And the other ongoing aspect we have over here is Jupiter sextile Uranus. Now, this one will also be with us through the 20th, which is the spring equinox, a couple days from now. And so this is the culmination of these. It's the culmination of the moon's cycle, and really the culmination of Sun in Pisces, because we're moving into Aries. But Jupiter sextile Uranus is, our sense of growth and expansion, our ability to imagine ourselves being, doing, and having bigger, better things that we can imagine for ourselves in a very cooperative aspect relationship with Uranus, which is the planet that comes around and shakes things up, makes things sort of happen out of the unusual, and that wakes us up to shifts and changes that we can make, hopefully for the better. And this aspect has really been like, make those changes for the better, folks, and good fortune will come your way. That's, Jupiter says, we're going to grow your sense of what you can be, do, and have, and we're going to bring you good fortune in your pursuits. And Uranus says, just make the changes for the better. Uranus has been in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So these are very much connected, because we've got this shifting sense of, not just like random things in our lives, but really this shifting sense of the stuff that we rely on for security in our lives. Taurus is very much about being grounded, and it's a very creative state, but it's a creative state that is, grounded in a place with a secure feeling that allows one to be able to relax and sort of spread out. So, for Taurus to have Uranus in there shaking things up is pretty uncomfortable, but, the promise is, be uncomfortable and go ahead and make those shifts that are for the better, because Jupiter brings in expanding good fortune when you do. Keep your eyes on the real prize when manifesting and making shifts in the direction of your ultimate security and satisfaction. And we talked about that a little bit the other day. Like, is this materialism or is it manifestation of life goals? Because, you can be materialistic and just try to manifest that truckload of money pulling up in front of your door, or, but we realize, and, the cultural story is full of tales about people who got all the money and resources and goods that they wanted, and they still weren't happy with what they had, right? Because it's really like the life goals are to be happy, to be contented, to be satisfied with what we've done and what we have and what we're doing. So keep your eyes on that real prize of real security and satisfaction in your life, not necessarily just on the shiny things that represent that security and satisfaction to you in your own reckoning. Okay, and then on the moon side of the page today at 3:11 a.m., Moon makes a trine aspect with Pluto. Now, here's something I'm noticing that I had not noticed before, and that's that often, now not every time, but often when the moon, and sometimes with other planets too, often when the moon reaches its last aspect before it makes ingress to the next sign, that aspect is with Pluto, which is the farthest out last planet. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, and I'm going to keep talking to you guys about that, just because it's something I've noticed, that Pluto is often the last aspect that a planet seems to make before it makes ingress to the next sign. Moon, Trine, Pluto. Transformations are available. They're on the table in our closest relationships. This really brings me back to this chance to communicate and resolve and review partnership goals so that we can come away with a new positive outlook, okay? It's a 3:11 a.m., so it's really from like 3 to 5 a.m., but it's a pretty good vibe to be entering. This is a void of course, right? To be entering this sort of contemplative phase that we have between 3:11 a.m. and 6:26 a.m. So that's a little over 3 hours of void of course, contemplative. We get into our intuitive and our creative practices. We do our reading and our writing, our journaling. We do our tarot, our I Ching, that kind of stuff. Whatever it is that we use to have a conversation with spirit and with ourselves about, how we're developing, especially in our personal life. But right now at 3:11 a.m., there's something there that can give us a change of heart and home, and not just a change, but a transformation in our heart and in our closest relationships. So that's really a beautiful and opportune time to be at least reflecting on and thinking about the people that we love and that we hold dear to us. And then at 6:26, the moon makes ingress to Libra. When the moon is in Libra for 2.5 days, through diplomacy and resolve, we create order and balance in our lives through the way we relate with other people. Okay, so it's not just about creating order like Virgo likes to sort things out and mend fences and heal things. But Virgo wants to do something. They want to make a plan, right? And Virgo is a very airy earth sign. It's actually ruled in astrology by Mercury. So it is very much about thoughts and plans and communications. And Libra is an air sign. It's ruled by Venus over here. So it's really more about balance and justice, making sure there is order and balance in our relationships, and creating order and balance in our lives through having good relationships with the people around us. And then at 11:29 p.m., the moon makes a trine aspect with Mars. Now, you might be looking for the pairing because these two are conjunct. That moon's trine aspect with Venus is going to come in at about 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we'll look at it tomorrow. But you see how they're drifting apart now, and they're not right next to each other on the page. Moon trine Mars brings us the inner resolve to stand up for ourselves and our loved ones and to make fresh starts, especially in the heart and home. And I can't really say that any better than I already said it. Mars is very much about initiative. It's defensive. It is assertiveness, and it makes conquest. Trine functioning here. Ideal functioning energies. You can see coincidences and synchronicities, but definitely you just get some ideal functioning of energies between the inner life and your sense of initiative. So it's a good time to, demonstrate your spine, stand up for yourself and your loved ones, and it's also a good time to make fresh starts because Mars represents Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, and that's a beginning. That's a good time to make starts. Coming up, we have tomorrow Venus square Uranus. So we just went into this Venus sextile Chiron, where we're having these sort of communications where we can resolve and review our partnership goals and come away with a more clear outlook. We're also tomorrow going to start this conversation about the challenges our receptive selves are having with making the shifts and changes. And that's interesting because, you know, Uranus is in Taurus, ruled by Venus, and now Venus is going to be square Uranus. So we're going to be having a conversation about the challenges that are coming up in our receptivity. And then the sun makes ingress to Aries on Sunday. That is the spring equinox. That is the 20th. It comes to us just already blooming. I walked outside today and I found little pink flowers and little blue flowers and little purple flowers and little yellow flowers. I am so happy that the spring is springing, friends. So sun makes ingress to Aries. We're coming out of this rest, relax, play, and create phase and into this forward initiative phase. This is the true beginning of the year where we feel that initiative and we can go after our goals. We know what we want and we know how to get it, okay? So that's the shift we're making. That's the transition we're making right now. And then also on Sunday, Mercury will make a conjunct with Jupiter. See, they've all been hanging out up here in Mercury, in Pisces. Sun's going to go into Aries, and then Mercury and Jupiter in Pisces are going to link up and go conjunct. We'll have conversations that are about our expanded ideas of ourselves and what we can be, do, and have. So that's really exciting. And then next Thursday is when we have that third quarter moon in Capricorn, when we switch from sort of celebrating and reviewing how things went to actually starting to release things, let things go, so that we can begin a new creative cycle with a clean slate at the new moon. Okay, that is it for the aspects today. 20 minutes in. If you're still with me, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for hanging in and listening. If anything came up for you while you were looking at this, if you have any questions or thoughts that you want to share, please put them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you guys and I'd love to respond. Also, while you're here, why don't you like my video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications bell. I post every day and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. Now I'm going to shift into talking a little bit of tarot. First we talk about the tarot card on the side of the page, and then I will shuffle and throw a tarot card for the energies of today. Hopefully. Probably aligned with the energies of today. So first, I'm going to talk about the Ten of Cups here. The Ten of Cups relates to the last 10 days of the sun's transit through Pisces. Okay, that's what we're doing here. And Pisces is a water sign, so Cups is the water element in tarot, and that's kind of how we get that. The Ten of Cups represents a really emotionally fulfilled feeling, okay? It's happiness, it's fulfillment with a deep sense of unity with the world around us, and this includes our family and loved ones feeling this sense of connectedness, and our community feeling this sense of connectedness, and the sense of like not just satisfaction but really fulfillment in the culmination of our creative goals. Right? We have put a lot of our love and our inspiration and our creativity, our literal creative, biological creative energy, and our physical creative energy, and also our heart's creative energy into creating into something that we can look at and really appreciate and feel satisfied and contented and fulfilled with it. And when we feel that way, it doesn't just run person deep or couple deep or family deep, it's community deep. It's a broadly localized vibe. Okay, so get a sense of that where you can in your life, in your own relationships, in your families, in your home space. Look at what it is that you have resourced for yourself in terms of just creativity and inspiration and love to give, emotional work that you have put in, and what that has garnered for you in terms of good relationships, not just with your partners, but with your families, your friends, and your communities. It's something to really appreciate and celebrate. And now the full moon, time to celebrate. Okay, and with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards and remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Pisces. Neptune and Jupiter, Pisces co-ruling planets, are also in Pisces. So this has represented an expanded flow of inspiration during the most creative time of the year. It's been very fertile, friends. I hope that, if you were not trying to have kids, you've been very careful about not creating them, because this has been the time. Or if you were trying to create kids, this is probably the time. And then Mercury in Pisces with Jupiter and Neptune just says we're also having an expanded level of creativity and color in our thoughts, plans, and communications, the way we think and do things throughout the day. And it can, come at the cost of our communications being a little less direct. But we've got this expanded creativity and this capacity to really imagine better things for ourselves, bigger things for ourselves, more beautiful things for ourselves. So, there's benefit in that. And then the full moon in Virgo happens very early this morning, 2:17 a.m. And, Virgo, full moon in Virgo is a time to celebrate. And with Virgo, we celebrate with an eye toward feeling and noticing the healing and the structure that we have created in our lives, through the work that we do, and then through the diligence and the work that we do. And then the moon moves into Libra pretty early this morning, and it's really still about creating structure, but it's through diplomacy and relating to others. That sun opposite moon really just indicates the full moon, but it also brings with it a warning that there may be some challenges to our egos. We may find ourselves in conflict if we cannot find an emotional way to balance it. But the emotional way to balance it is to be resolved, to be strong in your heart, inner strength, trust in your power, okay? Venus conjunct Mars and Jupiter sextile Uranus still with us for a couple more days before they go into their sort of post aspect shadow phase. We'll still be dealing with those themes. This Venus sextile Chiron and Sun sextile Pluto will be traveling together through the 24th at least. So that's one way in which we'll still be dealing with that Venus conjunct Mars theme. It's all about the partnerships, folks. It's about staying in communication and cooperation, because, we can get so far down a path together and then realize that our goals need to be revised, or our plans need to be revised a little bit in order to find solutions and mend things so that we feel good about going forward with them. It's all about that. And then, we are especially powerful at this time in our ability to succeed at whatever it is we're trying to do. Okay, just use a little bit of self-discipline, and you can get that drive forward. And again, Jupiter sextile Uranus, when you make changes for the better in your life, no matter how uncomfortable you are, if you know it's a change for the better, do it. It comes with good fortune at this time. Okay, and then on the moon side of the page, really positive stuff going on. The moon makes that trine with Pluto. We have transformations available to us in our closest relationships. We have this sort of 2 or 3 hour void of course time where we can contemplate what's going on in our lives, and mostly probably in our relationships. And then the moon moves into Libra, where our ability to relate is really put in a place where we are able to achieve balance in our closest relationships. And then that moon trine Mars at the end of the day just gives us like some spine and some resolve going forward. It helps us remember how to stand up for ourselves and our loved ones, and also how to make fresh starts. And it's kind of late in the evening, so it might not be the moment to make a fresh start, but that doesn't mean you can't make a plan for a fresh start in the morning. And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this card over. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So, the Knight of Pentacles. First, I want to talk about Pentacles. Pentacles relate to Earth element in the Tarot, and that's really about your body. Okay, the moon, how it feels to be in your body, right? How well are you feeling? How comfortable are you? It also has to do with your possessions. What are those things that you have that that help you get around and do the things that you need to do? Your home, your vehicle, the horse you ride. You can't see it, but he's probably riding a horse here. And excuse me for the light, folks. The Knight of Pentacles, the Knight is somebody who has a little bit of experience and is very dedicated to his cause. This is a person, you see that he's wearing this armor. He's like really well fortified. He's got the means to get to where he wants to go, okay? And he often comes in looking like a gift or an offering of some kind. And it's a wealth vibe, okay? It's about our finances and our money, our ability to get resources, the resources we have, and our ability to exchange for resources. It's a security vibe, which, you know, is something we've been talking about a lot with Uranus in Taurus, ruled by Venus, messing with our sense of security. But, you know, I think he really reinforces this Jupiter sextile Uranus, because basically he says, you know, here's an offer for more security. And if you see more security, if you see an expanded version of security and satisfaction in your life coming your way, wouldn't you accept it? Wouldn't you make the changes necessary to do that? Because when you do, you'll have good fortune and you'll see that security and satisfaction come your way. I see that. And I see this big round circle that reflects the full moon in Virgo, which is an earth sign. So, you know, this can be a pentacles kind of full moon as well. Mercury says, let's talk about it. Let's sort out our pentacles. Let's think about and celebrate what we have in terms of having you know, bodies that work for us and having structures around us that support us, our houses and our vehicles, the horses we ride, having, you know, solid ground to walk on both literally and figuratively in our lives is something to really appreciate. And whatever resources we have, we can take an accounting of them and we can appreciate them for what they are and also understand what we can turn them into. All right, so that's what comes up for me with the Knight of Pentacles. I believe I'm all done here for today. I appreciate you all so much for showing up today and every day. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.